Well, no, that is not where a volleyball is supposed to be at the end of a staircase. I don't think so. We'll hear about a volleyball in a story today. Talk to you later. In today's lesson, there's going to be something about McDonald's chicken nuggets and French fries. Stay tuned for more. And a story about a college boy who goes into the hospital is one of our stories today. So stay listening. C is for come. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. This is Jesus saying, come to him all the time, everyone. Be on his team, listen to him, learn from him, and he will help you.
I'm going to be reading from Luke chapter 17, verses 11 through 19. This is when Jesus healed the lepers. And Luke is written by disciple Luke. He was not an apostle, but he was a follower of Jesus and one of his disciples. And he also wrote the book of Acts. So Luke wrote 2 books of the New Testament, Luke and Acts. And Luke was a doctor, and he was a companion of the Apostle Paul on a couple of his missionary journeys. And he knew Jesus, and he knew Paul. And I'm going to be reading Luke's recording of the healing of the 10 lepers from chapter 17. Now on his way to Jerusalem, Jesus traveled along the border between Samaria and Galilee. As he was going into a village, 10 men who had leprosy met him. They stood at a distance and called out in a loud voice, Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. When he saw them, he said, Go, show yourselves to the priests. And as they went, they were cleansed. One of them, when he saw he was healed, came back praising God in a loud voice. He threw himself at Jesus' feet and thanked him, and he was a Samaritan. Jesus asked, Were not all 10 cleansed? Where are the other 9? Was no one found to return and give praise to God except this foreigner? Then he said to him, Rise and go. Your faith has made you well.
So our Bible story is from Luke 17, and it's about Jesus healing 10 lepers. And those are people that have leprosy. Now, Miss Cindy has done some research on leprosy, and she's going to tell you more about leprosy.
Miss Cindy, can you please tell me more about leprosy?
Hi, boys and girls. It's Miss Cindy. I wanted to talk to you today about leprosy. That was a terrible disease that made terrible sores on your hands and your feet and on your skin. And there was no medicine at that time to heal it. And nobody wanted to be around the lepers, anybody with leprosy, because they would catch it. It was very easy to spread. And so the lepers had to go away and live by themselves, or they had to live with other lepers out in the country all alone. And if they saw someone coming that did not have leprosy, they had to call out, unclean, unclean. And so it was a terrible life. And sometimes it affected their hands and their feet, and they weren't able to walk or weren't able to use their hands, so they couldn't work to earn money to buy food. And so they were really poor and had a terrible, sad life. And so when Jesus came along, he healed healed them, and it was instantaneously. In one instant, their skin was clean again, and they could use their hands and their feet, and they were so happy. Jesus had given them back their life, had given them a new life. And so, only one remembered to come back, though, and be grateful and thank Jesus. And the others, we hope they did eventually, but they didn't at first. That wasn't their first thoughts, is to be grateful. And we, boys and girls, we need to be grateful every day and thank God and Jesus for what they've done for us. All right, that's all for now. 143. I love you.
So thank you, Miss Cindy, for the information about leprosy, and helps us to understand what a terrible situation those men had. They had to live away, or men and women, but they had to live away from the rest of their family. They had to go off and live in the forest or somewhere, and probably their family loved them still so much, but their family would have to bring bread or food out and like set it in the field and leave it, so then their relatives with leprosy could come get the food and take it back into the little village or the center of the forest or wherever they were kind of hiding out, because they couldn't be with people. And usually what they would say, if other people came along, they would yell, "Unclean, unclean," because they were warning people, don't get close to us, don't get close to us. But in this story, these 10 men had heard about Jesus healing. And when Jesus healed somebody, everybody talked about it. And so it's like the whole community, the whole town, the whole region would know about this incredible man, Jesus, who was healing people. And he had healed one leper before, a man with leprosy. And with that man, he touched the man, which shocked all the people that were around Jesus. Like, you don't touch a leper. But he did. He touched the man and healed him instantly. So his hand, maybe a finger was missing, whatever. His hand was perfect again, just that fast. But as Jesus healed people, he did things differently from one individual to another. He didn't do everything exactly the same. One time he healed a blind man by saying, your sight's restored. Another time he healed a blind man by putting some mud on his eyes. Jesus did things differently. He could do anything in any way he wanted to. So when these men came up, they were like, we have heard this man has healed a leper before. Oh, if only we could be healed. And so when Jesus got near to where those 10 men were, they didn't holler, "Unclean, unclean." They said, "Jesus, Master, have mercy on us." Which is like, Jesus, you're the Lord, help us. And so Jesus didn't touch all 10 men. He didn't do it that way. He told them, okay, you're going to be healed, so go ahead and travel into town to see the priest. You're supposed to show the priest that you are healed. And so the men turned around and started heading towards where the priest would be in the town. And as they're going along just a short way, as they look down, and they're healed. Everything is healed about them, whether their feet were rotting or their fingers had bad, whatever. They were healed. And so 9 of the men continued on into town to see the priest. But one man stopped, and he turned around and he went back to Jesus, and he thanked Jesus. He fell down on his knees before Jesus and thanked him and praised him. And then Jesus asked, well, weren't there like 10? And you're the only one that has come back? And This man was a Samaritan, so he wasn't even of the same country or group as the other men, but he was the most grateful that day. Now, maybe the others later tried to find Jesus. See, Jesus was traveling through that area to Jerusalem. It's not like Jesus was standing right there and they could come back 2 days later and thank Jesus. He was moving on. So maybe they did thank him later. Maybe they had a chance to. But don't you know, all those men were so powerfully impacted by Jesus that when they heard about the teachings of Jesus and the teachings of the apostles later, they probably were eager to listen and to follow. We don't know. The Bible doesn't tell us what happens after this, but we can imagine pretty accurately that these men were thrilled to be healed. Their family was so thrilled that they were back with them and could be daddy or brother or sister again as a family. And word would spread, so everybody would hear about these 10 lepers being healed too, these 10 people with leprosy. So the Lord can do things in his own way, and we praise him, and we want to be grateful, right? We need to think about what God's done for us and be grateful for his blessings and his healings, and to have a thankful heart, not like, oh yeah, I got healed, no big deal. It is a big deal, and we always know that it's from God and Jesus who have the power to heal us, right?
A volleyball should be played with, not sitting in a flower pot. Why? This is a true story of when Jesus healed Carol, and she was very grateful.
So I want to tell you about something I am very grateful that God healed me. When I was about 40, one morning I was eating breakfast and I was crunching along on the cereal, and then suddenly my jaw went wrong and it hung up. It wouldn't move normally. I could open my mouth straight up just a little bit and then straight down, but I couldn't move it side to side or chew around or anything. It was hung, it was stuck. I went to the dentist and he said, oh, wow, you're hung up. That's called a closed lock. And we'll just have to try some things and see if they work. Well, they tried this one thing and it didn't work. And then they tried something else and it didn't work. I said, well, put some hot on it and then put some cold on it. And then maybe the hot-cold combination would work. It didn't. They tried different things. So months went by. I still couldn't eat anything but like mashed potatoes and pudding and soft things that didn't have to be chewed at all because my jaw wouldn't chew. I couldn't go to McDonald's and have chicken nuggets or French fries. For months, I couldn't chew. Well, then the dentist said, I don't know if this is going to work, Carol, but we could put you in braces. And then as the doctors tighten up and move the teeth around, maybe that will trigger something to open up your jaw again. We don't know. You could just end up with straight teeth, but it might work. You want to try it. So yes, I'll try that. I want my jaw to work. I hope it will work again. So after about 3 months in braces, one day just suddenly, it opened up. My jaw, open. I could go side to side again. Thank you, God. I'm so grateful. And so, even though that was years ago, I am still so thankful to God that I can have my French fries now and just about every other kind of food. I can have my chicken nuggets. And I'm just so grateful for his healing and that it changed my life. Because I was pretty much stuck with a bad jaw. And now I'm not. I can chew.
French fries.
This is the C verse. C is for come. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest.
Okay, thank you. This is a true story about how God healed Paul's knee.
Well, we're talking about gratitude and how we can be thankful to God. And I'll tell you about a time that I was thankful for God being able to develop these bodies that we live in and allow us to heal. We all have things that we do in our lives that are fun. I used to play hockey and volleyball back in when I was younger. And when I found out that I had to miss out on a whole season of sports because of a knee injury, that was a very difficult part of my life. But allowing God to heal my body and to allow me to do other things in place of the sports, give me other talents and abilities that I could develop, was a great thing. But then allowing my body to heal, I could get back to playing my sports, and it's something I've always been thankful for.
This is a true story of when God healed Jennifer's brother. Hello. I would like to tell you a story about the time my brother was very, very sick and had to go to the hospital, and we were very scared that he would not make it. So about 23 years ago, my brother, who's a little older than me, woke up in the middle of the night with some very, very bad pain in his side, and he didn't know what was wrong. He didn't want to wake up my parents, and so he went to the emergency room by himself. They checked him out and didn't think it was that big of a deal until they checked him again a little later and found out that his appendix had started rupturing. So they had to call the doctor, and the doctor wasn't coming in quite yet. So he had to wait a while before the doctor could come in and remove his appendix. Well, it would have been as easy as that, and he would have gotten better, except he ended up getting a very, very bad infection from it. And it was so bad that they weren't sure that he was going to live. And so we had to pray and pray and pray that he would make it and he would be okay. And eventually, he stayed in the hospital for a while, and eventually he ended up getting healed, and God took care of him and got him all healed up, and he's still alive today, and he is just as goofy of a brother as I've ever had. So we were very, very scared, but God saw us all through that time in our life, and he's better now. Hope you enjoyed my story. Well, we've had a good class time thinking about gratitude, being grateful to Jesus for blessings and healings that we have. So now let's review the first 3 verses that we've learned. A is for and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. B is for be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. C is for come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. So as we close this class today, I ask you that you say a prayer to God, thanking him and showing your gratitude, that you are grateful for what you have and the healings you've had. And everybody have a great week.